Today's project, we're going to replace the mast bearings in my Hobie TI. So if you've owned one of these for a while, you know that these races that the bearings are in are a little bit delicate. And if you get any damage on these edges, these little sharp edges, the bearings will all fall out. So first we have to get all the bearings out of the well here. So the best tool for that is one of these little grabber things. So looks like this. You press the button at the top and a little claw comes out the bottom. So we'll fish the balls out with this. Now if I can grab one. And I'll just save these balls for later. I got a whole bunch of new ones, but these are probably fine. But I'll save these as spares. So the races are held onto the front crossbar with 6 stainless steel screws, and they have nylock nuts underneath. I'm lazy, so we're going to take a drill to get them out. Hang on to your lock nuts. And all you have to do is just pull it off. There we go. Now we'll take the screws out. I'm not sure why these failed. Looking at them, there's a couple of little bad spots on the edges, but there's just one little bad spot there. But one thing I found is that I get about maybe 300 miles out of them, particularly if you're sailing in strong winds, and the races all fail. So I'll take these off and just throw them away. I don't like to save the ones that don't work for spares. So here are the new races, and you start the installation by rub some of the salt off of there. You take the bottom one, line up the holes, and you press it into place. And it will hold. It holds with just a little bit of interference fit, so you don't have to worry about hanging onto it up there, which makes it a lot easier to get the ball bearings in. So here's a brand new set of ball bearings that I purchased. Got these from Tackle Shack down in Tampa area. And so one trick to keep these, when you're putting the balls in here, it's real easy to have them drop out as you're placing them and fall down the well, and then it's a pain in the neck to get them out. So one trick to keep them from doing that is to put a little shaving cream in the race here. And a little too much here maybe, but you can wash this away with water or the next time you use the boat. Get a few balls in the hand. You need bearings in the hand. Start sticking them in. I think the correct number is 24 if I remember correctly, but you don't want any gaps. They all basically touch each other when you're done. I've done this without the shaving cream before, but I'm not gonna lie, I wound up having to retrieve several bearings from either the well, or they bounce off the boat and roll down the driveway, or they're just a little bit hard to chase down. The shaving cream trip works really well. They're all in place. My hands are a mess, but it's not the worst thing that could happen. So then all you have to do is line the holes up on the bearing, on the top bearing, top race. Press it down good and tight. Squeeze the bottom up good and tight. And then I set my drill for like 3 inch-pounds of torque here, so I'm not going to over tighten them. And then it's pretty much like putting lug nuts on a car tire. You do kind of you do opposites. Get this screw started here. Yep, I couldn't find the hole there that time. There we go. Oops. Just dropped the whole thing out. But because I had the shaving cream in there, it wasn't a catastrophe. Everything stayed. Alright. You just take the nut, put it underneath. Again, I don't over tighten them. We'll come back and tighten them up, firm them up a little bit later. So the next one to go will be the opposite side. You have to kind of run the screws. They don't just slide through. You have to run them in a little bit. Press the nut into the recess on the and I just kind of do star pattern. And I'll crank up the torque to about 9 inch-pounds and go back and hit each one again just to make sure it's tight. There. Looks a little soapy, but they're all in there and they're all going to stay. So we can wash that off with some water and should be able to keep the bearings in there the next time I go sailing. So this is the finished product. They're all good. One word of warning when you're washing this out, be careful about spraying high pressure water in there. It will blow these out of the bearings. And then anytime you're not using the boat or you're not using the mast, always take one of these pool noodles and shove it down in there like so. And that keeps the bearings protected and means they won't bounce or fall out as you're just traveling down the road. So that's how you change bearings. Hope you found that helpful.